Denver, the Avs, they've moved on in a sweep. They're hoping that Denver Nuggets continue to play playoff basketball. Nikola Jokic. Bruce Brown drops the hammer. A little head fake from Jokic. Denver up 7. Ant, no DiVincenzo. He's done for the year with the Achilles. No Ant for Minnesota for a period of time anyway with the knee. So you expect Jokic to probably be his best tonight. He's going to have to be here as the shot clock and the game clock in the first half wind down. A deep three. Jokic buries that. His third career playoff half with 10 or more points and assists, the most by any player since 97-98. It's a 9-point Denver lead at the break. Jokic, Murray baseline, beautiful assist. The two stars at their best for Denver in this one as they lead by 19. Spencer Jones on the break. And Denver's rolling. Now it's Jokic, Christian Brown, down the lane. This Timberwolf defense has been hellacious throughout these playoffs here. Denver's getting theirs as they lead by 21. T-Wolves continue to fight. Oh, Nasri with the handles. Float game. Cuts the deficit to 10 after being down 27. This is a big moment. Off the knockaway, Murray gets the breakaway, and the lead is growing. It's up to 15. And now, Jokic, he's like, here, you want it? What are we doing? The shenanigans again? All right, here's Murray on the victory by a dozen.
Focus, energy, some excitement. You know, we had to play like we was down 3-1, so I think we did a good job of just bringing the energy into the game and playing for 48 minutes, you know, making it, just not letting off the gas, and, we did a good job of just getting the win.
Coach Adelman talked to us before the game about guys on the roster not named Jamal Murray or Nikola Jokic contributing. What can you say about your teammates and the way they played tonight?
I mean, amazing. That's what we needed. Just everybody was in a flow and a rhythm. Guys on time and on target in their space and in their spots, and played hard on defense. That's all we can ask for. So I thought it was a great team win, a great team effort, and we're going to need more of that.
A game 6 now in Minnesota. How do you just bring this same type of effort on the road?
It's the same situation. So we got to bring the same energy. I think we got to be poised, be relaxed when we go into their building. You know, no one's going to be rowdy. No one's going to be a fun, exciting game for them. So we just got to keep our composure and limit the mistakes that we make on the court. So if we do that, we'll get a chance to win.
So the Nuggets season remains alive. Denver favored to win the series now as the Timberwolves, due to that knee issue for Anthony Edwards, expected to miss the rest of the series. Nuggets 6.5-point favorites Thursday in Minnesota, a -150 favorite to win the series. Janelle Gumake joins us to discuss just that. We know that Ant is out. We know that, unfortunately, another Achilles for Dante, another Achilles injury, in the playoffs, and the NBA's had a number of those in the last couple of years. So the Minnesota situation is going to be the same, but Denver's the one that has to win. What's your sense of what we see in this next game, Game 6 back in Minnie?
First of all, Scott, you had me laughing out loud when you called out Jokic's shenanigans at the end. That tickled me because it's something we've seen over the course of this series. But you know what actually lives rent-free in my head as a basketball analyst? I know it's been more of a human series for Nikola Jokic, but I feel like my anxiety as an analyst is that we're going to look back in a decade or 2 decades and ask ourselves, were we too casual with Nikola Jokic's greatness? Were we too casual with him being one of the greatest offensive scorers and generators ever? This was Jokic's third triple-double when facing elimination in the playoffs. And yes, we know that a number of the Timberwolves stars are out. Ant Edwards is superstar. But still, are we desensitized to what he's doing? 16 assists. And the usual suspect, Jamal Murray, who you just heard, was typically on the receiving end, but it wasn't just him. Jamal averages, 26 on 50% shooting in elimination games. But Spencer Jones had a playoff career-high 20. Cam Johnson had a nice dunk. He was flowing out there. So when you think about Jokic's impact, it's not just that he gets you near 30. It's the fact that he's consistently getting you at his best. 15 to 17 assists. And the transformative power of Nikola Jokic is that he can take a role player, a star in their role, and get you all-star production just by how he passes the ball.
It's so difficult to have conversations about star players because people take their side up and they're gonna rep their guy and say the other guy sucks. That's just how NBA conversations tend to go, and that's what happens, I think, with Jokic. As you asked the casual question, I'd ask if he feels pressure, but he seems not to. But I feel like if you're Denver, Chiney, you without Ant and with no Dante, like as rugged as Minnesota is, and all credit to them for who they've been. Denver has to figure out how to win this series. I feel like all the pressure's on Denver down 3-2 to figure out how to get this thing home and win it. Don't you feel the same?
Completely agree. Absolutely. And a lot of people might say, oh, it should be a layup for the Denver Nuggets to win. Have you not been watching this Timberwolves team? They have been galvanized. They have been galvanized because on the surface level, a lot of people would say, hey, no Ant, that's 30 points per game. But really, Rudy Gobert has been masterful. You have a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year guarding that 3-time MVP. And so it's not a walk in the park. They're going to have to go on the road and do it again. And we've seen what it looks like. And lastly, I'll say this, SVP. I understand why many Minnesota fans get their favorite players tattooed on them because they play with their heart on their sleeve. And so this is still not easy. Denver will have to show up.
We completely agree. We completely agree. It's like a legacy question, though, for Denver. After the title, they have not been great in the playoffs. It feels like this is one they got to figure out a way. We will chat with you on the other two games that we're going tonight. In NBA playoffs, Orlando had a 2-1 lead over the 1-seed Detroit. Stanford Steve said on our podcast that we taped early Monday, Orlando just looks like the better team in this series thus far. It continues on Monday night in Orlando. Leading by 3, the Pistons double that lead on a Cade Cunningham triple. Next Pistons possession, Cunningham finds Tobias Harris down the lane. Pistons lead by 8. Magic down 4. Franz Wagner, baseline J, would leave the game with a calf issue. That's obviously something to monitor. He is a significant contributor to this Magic squad. So too Desmond Bane. He hits the 3. Orlando up by a bucket at the break. Cunningham through traffic. The and one, he had 25. Pistons down 2 after the free throw. Now Bane, a 3. That's cash money. Bane is hyped, and his former teammates in Memphis, John Morant and Jaren Jackson, there to cheer him on. In the 4th, look out! Jamal Cain with the bounce, and Jalen Duren hits the deck and slides out of the frame. He gets dunked on so hard. Cain eyeballing the rim. That's remarkable, Hops. It's worth just 2, but in this game, 2 was significant. Buckets tough to come by. Paolo Banchero gets one there. Magic up 5, under 6 to go. Pistons continue to be completely unable to hit a 3 in the 4th. They get that Harris 2, and it's a 2-point game. It's now a 3-point lead until Bane. He knows he got away with one. Off glass for 3, a team-high 22. Orlando grabs a 3-1 lead over the 1 seed, who was held to 88 in the game. This is the 6th time since seeding began in 84 that an 8 has a 3-1 lead on a 1 in a best-of-7 series. In 4 of the previous 5 instances, the 8 won the series. Some hope, though, for Pistons fans, including our very own DeCourty. The only 1 seed to ever erase this deficit and win was Detroit in 2003 against Orlando. Jamal Mosley knows. Still need one more win. Job's not finished.
I wanted to go in there with that clip of Kobe saying, hey, job's not done, job's not done. But the reality is the job is not done. We've given ourselves the chance and put ourselves in position with a 3-1 lead to go get the 4th. And that's it.
I'm shocked you guys that you're in this position now.
I mean, going into it, shocked. But with the way that we've been playing, you know, that stuff's not good enough to win games. And this league's too good. They're a good team, so you know, they're out rebounding us, turning me over, and we haven't hit enough shots. Our defense hasn't caught its footing, so you know, it's not shocking that we're losing games playing like that.
Chiney Ogwumike joins us now to talk Magic. Yes, this team was reeling at the end of the season. They made it the hard way through the play-in to get here, up 3-1. So by all means, let's tip our cap. But on the other side, we're talking about a 1 seed, and I'm looking for some explanation of what Detroit is doing that explains their performance. What would you say to try to explain it away?
Scott, let me get a stab at this because this honestly is a textbook situation of not putting too much weight on seeds. It's quite baffling because in large spurts, the 8th seed looks better than the 1 seed because the playoffs are honestly truly about matchups more than seeds. The Orlando Magic actually match up really well with the Detroit Pistons. And when you break it down, each team is led by stars. You have Cade Cunningham and you have Paolo Banchero. At times, they can neutralize each other. At times, they can go shot for shot. But this series is really dictated by the sub-layer, by the next tier. Because Desmond Bane, my goodness, he's found his shot. Franz Wagner has been unguardable off the dribble versus the Detroit Pistons. And you have to include Wendell Carter, who has won the battle of the paint versus the first-time All-Star in Jalen Duren. They have been outplaying the next tier of the Detroit Pistons, Jalen Duren and Tobias Harris and company. And from the opening play, I knew that there were probably going to be issues for Detroit. They tried to give the ball to Jalen Duren because he has been averaging around, 10 points in this series, shooting 40%. And what happened on that play? It got picked off. It was telegraphed. And it was converted on the other end for the Orlando Magic. So right now you have to tip your cap because the defense and also improved offense of the Magic has been great. But right now it is quite shocking that Detroit can't find more diversity to really be better opponents in this series.
Sit tight. We have a 1 seed who certainly looks the part after the highlight of the Thunder roll, and we will visit with you on that. Thunder are a wagon.
What's your budget on this show?
Let's see. Oh, it's extensive. There, the horses, well, the feet move for a bit, then they stop. Looking for the sweep in Phoenix. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander off the amazing Game 3. 15 of 18 from the floor. Dylan Brooks, how do you stop him?
He's efficient, and I got him Game 4.
Okay. Early on. Let's see what we got here. There's Dylan Brooks. Oh. Technical early. Shai here, mid-range game. He just doesn't miss those shots, it seems, tying things at 58. We're here tied at 60. Brooks, beautiful fake on Chet Holmgren. He had 14 in the first half. Suns up 2. But the Thunder went absolutely wild at the end of the second quarter. Felt like they didn't miss for like the last 6 minutes. Shai beat the buzzer. 17 in the first half. It was an 8-point lead for the Thunder at the break, significant to some. Third quarter, all Shai. Step back. Thunder up 9. Then Shai slicing through the defense. Bucket good and the foul. 3 the hard way, and now 6 to go in the third. The lead's a dozen. Again, the head of steam. Again, 3 the hard way. And the Thunder lead by 8 after 3. Shai here on the drive, finds Cason Wallace. Corner 3, pushes the lead to 14. Again, it's Shai through traffic. That's absurd. And it drops, pushing the lead to 16. And with about 5 to go, there's Chet. Again pushing the lead to 16. Thunder by 9. And they move on by a sweep. The Thunder have now played 3 first-round series under head coach Mark Daigneault. They've swept all of them. That streak of a dozen consecutive wins in opening rounds, the 4th longest by a head coach since the current playoff format began in 1984. Trailing only legends Pat Riley and Phil Jackson, and Daigneault's just getting started. Today is back with us, and the Thunder were unthreatened and unbothered by this Phoenix team. No surprise, led by Shai, who was brilliant, particularly games 2 through 4, where he was 38 of 60 from the floor. But it's not just the scoring, Shanae, that caught your eye. What has most impressed you about how he has played in totality?
Yeah, Scott, we talk a lot about how SGA is a scorer, and rightfully so. As you mentioned, the last 3 games, he's averaged like 35 on 60% shooting, which is wild for a guard. But it's more so about his gravitational pull. We need to talk about it more. And it's not a traditional gravitational pull like Steph Curry from 3 or Victor Wembanyama with his defensive force field. It's what he does in the mid-range. It leads to a lot of hockey assists. and he gets to his spots on the floor in the mid-range where the defenders are congested, and those kickouts lead to it being practically target practice for his teammates. Chet Holmgren, even AJ Mitchell, this is a team that's down J-Dub. They get so many great looks because in the mid-range where people are already there, defenders, he's able to manipulate, either score or kick it out, and it's a good to a great pass that leads to a good to a great shot. That's a part of his game that we don't really give enough credit. And it's kind of wild because when you think about SGA, what makes him special is that on one night, he can drop 40 on 15 for 18 shooting in game 3. Or he can just say, all right, I'm going to spread the wealth this night, like we saw in game 4. I'm going to get to my 30, but make sure my teammates can eat. He is truly talented. His basketball IQ is through the roof, and we should start counting on this special night, the hockey assist for him.
That's a great point. And you have Williams on the bench with the injury. AJ steps up tonight. It is a deep, talented team. They're just getting started, and they get to rest after the sweep over Phoenix. Shanae, you get to rest as well, at least for a little bit.
I'll take it.